Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. Vladimir Putin threatened to use nuclear weapons in the war against Ukraine. He's also calling up nearly 300,000 reservists to the military. That's causing panic and a mass exodus from Russia. As losses mount on the battlefield, will Putin become even more dangerous? Could the country which gave us the Chernobyl nuclear disaster really be so cavalier about weapons that can destroy the world? Robert O'Brien is the former national security advisor and was our country's top hostage negotiator. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. I know we should all take nuclear threats seriously, but how seriously do you take Putin's threat to use them?
Well, I think we have to listen to these dictators when they make statements like that, and we have to be prepared. We didn't listen to Putin when he said he was coming into Ukraine, and we haven't listened to Chairman Xi in his conversations about going into Taiwan. So we have to take these dictators seriously. But I think the comments about the use of nuclear weapons and the mobilization are real indications that Russia's in serious trouble in this war, that they're losing, and Putin's trying to figure out somehow to change the equation. But I think the good news is it means Ukraine's winning the war. That's good for America, it's good for our allies, and it's good for the people of Ukraine.
Speaking of Ukraine, let me play a clip from President Zelensky and get you to react on the other side.
He wants to scare the whole world. These are the first steps of his nuclear blackmail. I don't think he's bluffing. I think the world is deterring it and containing this threat. The United States could show its leadership position and recognize Russia as a sponsor of terrorism.
All right, I'm sure a lot of Americans are saying, look, we are trying to help. What would saying Russia's a sponsor of terrorism add to it? Should it be done? Should it have been done in the past, frankly?
Look, I'm not sure that's what we need to do there. I think what we need to do is back up our deterrence with a strong America. Peace through strength works. Ronald Reagan showed it throughout the many years of the end of the Cold War, his 8 years of peace through strength, rebuilding our military and showing the Russians that we're not going to be pushed around, we're not going to be bullied, and we're not going to be blackmailed. And so what we can be very proud of the fact that we've been supplying the Ukrainians, but let's not forget it's the Ukrainian people that have been fighting and dying to deliver their country from Russia. We need to make sure that we're energy independent. I mean, that's one thing that will keep Putin from trying to push us around and push our allies around. And then we also need to ask our Europeans to pitch in. I mean, the American taxpayers are the most generous people in the world. We're such a giving country, and we've been the arsenal of democracy for Ukraine. We're sending them billions and billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars, and that's who we are as Americans. But when I saw the other day that the Germans are sending 4 artillery pieces, and that's all they can come up with. Now, this is the 3rd biggest economy in the world, and they can come up with 4 artillery pieces. That's just not right. So we need to get our European allies to burden share with the American taxpayers, give the Ukrainian army what they need to fight the Russians, and let's help them win this war and push Russia out of Ukraine, and send a message to Beijing that, look, this is your fate in Taiwan if you try to invade Taiwan. So this is an important time for the world. And we can send an important message by standing up to the Russians, not caving into their blackmail, and yet at the same time taking Putin seriously and understanding that we have to be, prepared to deter him.
Ambassador, for some reason, you seem to be drawn to the toughest assignments in the world. I mean, not only being the national security advisor, but you were a hostage negotiator. So let me ask you, how do you negotiate for the release of Americans while you are currently not at war with that country, but certainly involved in a war that country is involved in? How delicate is that conversation?
Look, it's delicate, but again, you have to show strength in negotiations. You've got to let the other side know that you're prepared to walk away, that you're not going to overpay for hostages. You're not going to create a market for them to take new hostages, or to encourage other countries to take hostages. So whether it's Iran or Russia or China, we've got to go into those negotiations. We need to find out what they want, what they're looking for, and if it's something that's reasonable, we can work out a deal. But if it's not reasonable, or if they're trying to use an innocent American to leverage this country in a way that is bad for our national interest, we have to let them know, as important as that person is to us, we're not going to allow American national interest to be set aside for the sake of a hostage. But look, we can get them out. We showed in the Trump administration we got over 55 Americans out of places all over the world, from Iran to Russia to China to North Korea. And again, it was good, strong, tough negotiating. And where possible, and on several occasions we did this, we used the military to go in and rescue our hostages. And that's what those men and women of the Special Forces were trained for and stood up to do. And they're the best in the world. And we need to let the evildoers know that there's a price that A, will rescue our hostages, and B, there's a price to pay when you hold an American.
Ambassador Robert Ryan, thank you for your service to our country in all the ways it's manifested itself.
Great to be with you, Trey. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.